What is going on, guys, and welcome back to an episode of Into the Triangle. My name is Sam. Obviously, yesterday was a bummer. We did the podcast yesterday. I want to thank Neffy for coming on, talking, kind of immediate trade deadline reactions, um, seeing all that stuff. But I, last night was sort of a raw reaction to what happened. It was a very raw, just unfiltered thoughts, emotions on the team and, you know, what happened with it. We're now kind of, what is it, like almost 14 hours, no, 16 hours after the trade deadline. I kind of want to revisit, do a little post-mortem here and say, okay, trade deadline's gone. The kind of harsh, raw emotions are somewhat kind of already going away. What is the outlook for this Red Sox team going into, the rest of the season? Because as much as last night kind of stopped the world around Red Sox Nation, there is still a third of the season to play, and the Red Sox are still in a playoff spot. That's just, the way it is. So things are going to keep happening. The world will keep turning. The Red Sox will keep going out there and playing baseball games. So the question remains, where do the Red Sox stand? What are the plans for the rest of the season? And, just some more kind of looks at what the deadline is, how it went down, and just kind of looking to what's next. What's next? I think I want to start before we kind of really dive into what the what the rest of the season looks like. I think I kind of want to touch on Craig Breslow, um, and his regime as a whole. I Yesterday, my first immediate reaction, like a lot of Red Sox fans, was to say, I think Craig Breslow should probably be fired. That being said, today I feel slightly different. I don't feel necessarily totally totally different about it. I still think there is a justifiable reason to think Craig Breslow should probably be gone. I don't think I would disagree with you or call you crazy if you say I would be okay if Craig Breslow was fired today. But I just can't help but feel like this was obviously not what Craig Breslow wanted. And I don't think that this is the same way with Heim, where it was a lack of action. I think there's a small part of me that wants to defend Craig Breslow because it's clear that he tried. I mean, it's everybody that has knowledge said that the Red Sox were trying desperately for starters going up until the last minute. And ultimately, what that turned into was Dustin May. But for all we know, they were this close to a Joe Ryan, or they were close on Merrill Kelly and just didn't land it. It is inexcusable in a way to come up short after promising to buy. And I really think that's Craig Breslow's first big problem. I wonder how we feel about this deadline if Craig Breslow doesn't promise to buy the day after Rafi is traded. Obviously Rafi is traded, and then he said, we're going to be aggressive buyers at the deadline. And then, when you promise that, it gets fans' hopes up. And this was before the Red Sox looked like a team that could make the playoffs. Since Rafi has been gone, the Red Sox have looked like a playoff team. They have won close games more than they did with Rafi. Their pitching has taken a step that we weren't really expecting, where Brian Bayo and Lucas Giolito are now looking like really solid contributors going down the stretch for what's going to be a playoff push. The Red Sox are here, and when Craig Breslow promised to buy when the team wasn't playing well, and then the Red Sox go on this 10-game win streak, and they, take a series from the Dodgers, and they keep fighting, and they keep scrapping out wins. You really do expect more from the promise that Craig Breslow delivered, that was this team is going to be a buyer. And like I said, I do feel for him a little bit because I think if you watch any of the clips yesterday, you can't help but feel like there was some legitimate disappointment on Craig Breslow's behalf. I think I think they probably thought that there was a good chance that they were going to get Joe Ryan, and it didn't happen. Jared Carrabis said that in his opinion, he had a source that told him that the Red Sox, someone told him that the Red Sox have an 85% chance of landing Joe Ryan by the end of the day. Obviously, it didn't happen. But if that was the feeling in the Red Sox building and they don't walk away with Joe Ryan, you can only imagine how they feel. And in a way, I am happy that Craig Breslow did not try to sell me on Dustin May being like the number two that they were hoping for. Because Jen McCaffrey, shout out to Jen. She does a lot of great work for The Athletic. Please subscribe to The Athletic if you haven't. It's like, as far as sports journalism and writing, like there is nothing better. And they also have more intel, I find, than most other places. Um, she asked, "Hey, you talked about wanting to acquire a number two. Is Dustin May that?" And Craig was like, let's not place that on Dustin." So it's clear that he's not trying to be like, yes, Dustin May is the number two. This is the number two we all wanted. We all wanted Dustin May, and we're very happy with Dustin May. Don't get me wrong. I think they're happy that Dustin May is on the roster. I think they like him. I think they think that he is a actual piece that is going to help this team down the stretch, but it's not the number two. It's not the legitimate impact starter that you were looking for. He's just a starter that's slightly better than the other bad starters that you already have in your rotation. So if you were to ask me, where am I on the Craig Breslow fire meter, where 10 is get him out of here and 0 is we just won 10 straight World Series, give him a lifetime contract? I would say I'm at like a 7.5. It's tough. It's tough because with Craig, we've seen it, right? We've seen Craig Breslow have these moments where he's able to just say, and pardon my French, fuck it. Like, yeah, Garrett Crochet. Hey, we missed out on Max Fried. You know what? Fine. Here's Brady Montgomery in the deal. Give us Garrett Crochet. We've seen how that's worked out. Alex Bregman. Hey, Cora wants Bregman. You know what? Fine. Fuck it. Here's 40 million a year. Like it's not like Heim, where Heim very clearly like never had the moment where it's like things just clicked and he just did the big move. He's never done that. Craig has done that. And he does deserve some credit because there is some talk around Red Sox Nation that Craig is just another Heim, where it's just he's just a guy who cares too much about prospects. He's too much about analytics, and he's not ever willing to make the big move. He's not willing to ever pull the trigger and be aggressive. That's just a lie because we've seen it before. And Crochet is a like legitimately great example that when push comes to shove, he is willing to put the prospects on the line if he believes in the player. I think that there is a, I think Joe Ryan not being a Red Sox is probably more on the Twins being like, your prospects just aren't good enough, rather than it being, ooh, I don't want to give up that one prospect. I don't think it was like that. Craig Breslow outright said there were no untouchables for us. Do I believe that? I don't. I think Peyton Tolley was probably an untouchable. That's just my hunch. Jen McCaffrey also said, and shout out to Neffy for predicting this yesterday, kind of calling this out. Jen McCaffrey also said that there was reluctance on the Red Sox part to not include a major league outfielder, which you could presume is probably Abreu or Duran. Um, so that's interesting too. I think you wonder if maybe they're more comfortable if Marcelo Myers still okay and healthy. Like if they're more cool with if Marcelo's at everyday second base, you could probably say, okay, well, guess what? We'll just like we already have the surplus of outfielders. We'll just move Duran now when Duran is really hot, and also like Rafaela is having to play second base more and more. You kind of like have to keep Duran on the roster for the continuity and the health of the lineup. So it's tough. It's really difficult to place blame here. It's really disappointing though. It's really disappointing. So that's my Craig Breslow talk. I was kind of mulling on that for a little bit. I don't think necessarily that what happened yesterday was all Breslow's fault. Um, because we saw other teams swing and miss on starters, like the Cubs, who are in a much better position than the Red Sox are, and are rather than the Red Sox, who are like playoff contenders, the Cubs are World Series contenders. They didn't add a starter because the starting pitching market was so crazy. Merrill Kelly, who was like the one real, like legitimate top rental that was traded, starting pitcher rental that was traded. I think the Rangers had to give up like their fifth and then like two other top 15 prospects. Like that's a lot for a 36-year-old rental. I also think that I would probably be much happier right now if the Red Sox just did that. So it's tough. You see what the Red Sox had to give up for Dustin May, and you kind of get a sense for what that market was. Like James Tibbs is a lot for Dustin May, but that's just what the market is. And it's unfortunate. It just really is unfortunate. Now let's kind of break down where the Red Sox stand as far as the rest of the AL. Because as much as I am disappointed, I still can't help but feel like this team is still better than a few other American League teams. Like, I still think they're better than the Rangers. The Rangers added a lot to their rotation. Like, Merrill Kelly is a great add for them. He's going to throw a lot of meaningful innings down the stretch. They had a couple bullpen arms. Their offense still is bad, and they didn't add anything offensively. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to do I like the Red Sox, do I like the Rangers more? I still think I like the Red Sox more. Like especially if it came down to like a wild card matchup or for like a 3 game set, like Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito going out there and playing the Rangers, I probably like us more just because their offense really is bad. Like if you guys can ever go take a look at what the Rangers offense is like, it's rough. Like it is really not good. So yeah, just go take a look at that. I still think I like the Red Sox more than the Rangers, which by that logic would mean that they make the playoffs because, as much as these other teams are kind of still in it, like the Rays did like a sell buy, like they traded some pieces, they kept some pieces, they added some pieces. Um, you know, I the Red Sox are better than the Rays. I'm sorry. They just are. Like that's just the reality of it. I firmly believe that we are better than the Rays. Um the Mariners, I don't think we're better than the Mariners. The Mariners' one problem was offense. They had two really solid bats. The rotation's still great. And as good as the deadline that I think the Yankees had, I'm still not scared by the Yankees. I'm just not. Um, their bullpen is much better. They added a couple great bullpen arms. Don't get me wrong, like Bednar and Doval. I'm not shitting on the Yankees deadline. I'm shitting on the Yankees team. I don't really believe that much in the Yankees just roster and lineup. And I mean, my stance is like I think if you can take out Judge, and when I say take out, I'm not like hit him in the arm and get him out of the lineup. I mean, like if you can neutralize Aaron Judge in that lineup, like that defense is horrible. Their defense is really bad. They have like Anthony Volpe has like 16 errors at shortstop or something. I'm not nervous about the Yankees. So, is there a world where the Red Sox are somehow, after all of this, like the 2 seed in the wild card still? Yeah, I still think they're a playoff team. Like I do. I think that where you missed out is there's a chance that yesterday you could have made it almost a guarantee that they were a playoff team. And now you're just kind of making it, you made it maybe a little bit more sure. Like, hey, here's Dustin May. He's going to throw innings. But I think in general, it's the Red Sox are, I think if you had to put a chance on it, I think the Red Sox are still likely to make the playoffs at this point in time. The question is like, well, what will they do once they get there? Will they have the ammo down the stretch to really finish things out and get going? That's a good question. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But that's my take. Yes, other teams got better. I still like the Red Sox more than the Rangers. I still think the Red Sox are about on par with the Yankees as a team. We've played them twice already. As much as they like to add bullpen arms, they kind of like is they are who we thought they were. Like they're not like you've gotten runs off Max Fried, you've gotten runs on Carlos Rodon. Like their starters don't scare me that much. Their bullpen is great, but your bullpen's great too. So it's there's not much difference there. And then I think your lineup is better than the Yankees. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I want to talk a little bit more about what the Red Sox plan should be down the stretch with like how this roster is going to shape out. This will probably be the last thing I talk about this episode, this kind of post-mortem, you know, um, kind of clarity session, I guess you could call it, where like we've had some time to think about it, and these are my thoughts on the whole matter. Um, I think that Dustin May slots in pretty well at the four. He's better than Walker Buehler. You kick Walker Buehler to the five. I don't know if he's going to start today. That's a good question. He might. It's going to be worth to see. It's either going to be him or Criswell. I'm interested to see when Kyle Harrison plays a factor into this team because I mean we've seen it before. I think Coley Mick himself said this. Um, the Kyle Harrison has been a better pitcher at the major league level this year than Walker Buehler. Like we've already seen it. And sure, you're trying to you're tweaking his arsenal. He does start today in a doubleheader, so it could be interesting to see like follow that. If he has a good start, is there a chance that he's up and Bueller is gone? Yeah, I think there is. And maybe they can kind of justify it by saying, well, we got him in the Rafi trade, and that's kind of a deadline move. So if you want to think about it like that, well, we're adding two starters, we're adding Kyle Harrison, we're adding Dustin May, and that's like the rotation reshape for this deadline. I could see that happening. I would even like Kyle Harrison more than Walker Bueller. I think he's better right now than Walker Bueller. And while he wouldn't be probably an elite improvement by any means, he would be a at least decent improvement on what Walker Bueller is, which is bad. I'm also interested to see does Christian Campbell come up this year? Like, is he back up this year? I don't know. He would really have to wow in AAA. I think the fact that they didn't add a first baseman at all does speak to, like what he could do. Like, do you want to have Toro hit against righties and have KC hit against lefties? It's interesting. I don't know if he's done enough at AAA to make you say that, like, okay, he's back, he's ready to go. The bat and the swing still, it looks awkward. Like they really have to make that work. Um, but he is pulling the ball more, pulling the ball in the air more, which is something that you really wanted to see. I am curious whether they just, kind of let him sit in AAA for the rest of the year and kind of continue to build on that and maybe bring up someone else. It's going to be interesting to see. But I do wonder where Harrison and Campbell factor in at the major league level down the stretch. You've seen kind of Coley Mick talk about this a little bit. So shout out to him. But yeah, like, are those guys pieces? Like, is that the reason why you didn't trade for another starter? Is that the reason why you didn't trade for first baseman? Do you see these guys coming up? Like, I wish I could have Craig Breslow here right now and have him just talk off the record and get his thoughts on these things because this Red Sox team, as much as it's kind of solidified now, there's still a lot of questions about who's going to be coming up. Is Walker Buehler going to be a factor down the stretch? Are they going to bring up another starter? Like, does Peyton Toley come up at some point this year? It's going to be interesting to see. You wonder if they bring up Kyle Harrison. Does that kind of open the door for Toley to just go to AAA and start working there? It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. And I think this Red Sox team has a lot of questions to answer. I wonder if Dustin May is going to play today. We'll probably learn about that later. And I'm just interested to see, what happens with this lineup, this rotation. And I also want to, stay tuned for some quotes from the team today, whether it's Alex Cora, whether it's different players about the deadline. It's going to be interesting to see their thoughts about, kind of how this deadline shaped the team, and do they think it was a legitimate enough buy-in? I'm not sure. We'll see. So I guess that's it. A very weird kind of dreary morning, I would say, for Red Sox fans, where it's almost like a hangover. Yesterday was so crazy, but it was such a big letdown at the same time that you wake up and you're like sad, but you're tired, and it's like everything's happening. The Red Sox play baseball tonight. And the easiest way to get our minds off of this is to win games. Series against the Astros. My prediction. Oh boy, let me see what we have here for a prediction. I have to see who's pitching in this series. I think yeah, okay, so it's Hunter Brown. So you are seeing Hunter Brown and Valdez in this series. And you have Criswell, Bueller, Giolito. At least Criswell for now. It could be Dustin May. We'll see. Give me 1 out of 3. Give me 1 out of 3 for the series. I think we probably win the second game. No, you know what? We win the third game. We hit lefties well. I like Giolito on the mound too. So I'll say we'll take 1 out of 3. We'll win the third game, and then you go from there. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments below. My thoughts on Craig Breslow, anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please like, subscribe. I will see you guys next time after the Astros series for a series review. Uh, keep your peace. All right. I'll see you guys.